Hey everybody, and welcome to Shooting the Shit, episode 3. No special guest, it's just a moose and an eagle.
That's right, just us.
Yeah, I don't think we've done a solo episode. Well, technically, it's not really solo, but an episode with just us shooting the shit.
Yeah, that's right. We had Chinoe and Carioca in previous episodes, and now it's just us. I'm sure we'll have people join us in the future as well.
Yeah, no doubt. But for right now, we're just two blokes having a couple of beers. What has been up, Mr. Moose?
Well, not a whole lot. Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot, to be honest. Just a couple things I'm looking forward to watching, and as always, and a few things I have been watching, and which I can go into detail about that.
So when you're not watching movies or shows, you're just sitting in the void somewhere?
Sitting in the void, yes. Dousing myself in maple syrup.
You're just like floating, cross-legged. Ooh, it's time to watch a movie. All right, it's time to watch a show.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Work and stuff like that. But
yeah, I feel you. I mean,
there's a lot of good movies out, eh? And a couple movies coming out that I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, speaking of which, I just found out prior to recording that Gladiator 2 just came out. Or it's about to come out, and it's one or the other, and it's just like, all right, cool. I mean, it looks stupid. I want to watch that because it looks stupid. So, yeah, cheers.
Yeah, I think it just came out 2 days ago. I think it's getting mixed reviews. People are saying it's fine, it's good, but not great. I mean, either way, I'll be seeing it. So
Ridley Scott's trajectory is just steadily going down. The more movies he makes, the more it's just like, yeah, his heart's not quite in it. Or something's happening. Even though personally I did like his Napoleon movie, some people really didn't like it, but I'm like, I liked it. I don't know. I thought it was fun. I thought it was.
I need to watch it. Yeah. I still haven't seen it. I heard it was not bad.
Yeah, honestly, it really wasn't. I like the opening scene. I liked a lot of the scenes that are in it. Joaquin Phoenix was great. I felt, it's just like I don't know. Like I don't know what people were expecting. But this Gladiator 2 thing is just kind of like, it's funny because like the first one was clearly a standalone film. It's a good movie. I enjoyed it for what it was. And for years, they were trying to make a Gladiator 2. And there was like this one script where Maximus Aurelius, or Aurelius Maximus, whatever his name is.
Yes.
He was in hell or something, and he comes back, and there's some weird in it, supernatural crap in it. And this one, it just seems to be like a standard, like, okay, after that era, here's a new bunch of gladiators, and they're each other up or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm game, I guess. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look. When I saw the trailer, I was like, well, I'll check it out. I don't have high expectations for it. Obviously, I'm a fan of Ridley Scott, but to be honest, I don't think I've seen one of his movies for quite some time. I think the last Duel was the last film I saw. I didn't see Napoleon. I didn't see House of Gucci.
The last Duel, is that the one where like there's some
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and Adam Driver?
Yeah, that's where grape is involved.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes place in the medieval times.
Yeah, I heard about that. So, maybe I'll watch it. Maybe I won't. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's the last movies that, and then I think he did Covenant was before that. So I think there's one other movie I'm missing.
I know you kind of like that film, but that film was horrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I like Prometheus, and I like Covenant for some elements, some aspects. I mean, it's obviously very problematic, and I have issues with it. But
it's dumb.
And obviously, Prometheus, I was very critical of. We saw it.
Actually, we saw it together. Yeah,
a long time ago, and we were like, because it wasn't what we expected. And the more I watched it over the years, I've seen it several times. I kind of like got into it, the philosophy, and I can see what he was trying to accomplish, and what he, and I found the stuff that did connect into Covenant interesting enough with Walter and David and what was going on. And so I was like, okay, there's something there. Maybe it wasn't executed that well. And
I mean, honestly, it's just really the same sort of plot of the first Alien. I mean, that's the kind of the problem with these Alien films. They kind of retread the same ground, except for the first two, obviously. Third one technically was different too, because that's a whole ass planet. It's a prison planet,
prison colony.
Yeah, whereas in the second one, it's like that's a different planet too, but you center it on a colony, so it's a little bit different. And then the first one, obviously, it's a ship, so it's just like you have three different areas, and then after that, where do you go from there? It's just like That's why, as much as we watch the review, guys, of Alien Romulus, it's like, I liked the film. I thought it was good, but at the end of the day, it's like not all that different from what has come before. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's true. I mean, you know what you're going to be getting with these films, and you just hope that they're consistently good. And sometimes they are. I mean, I don't think I would say consistently good, because obviously there was problems with Alien Resurrection and now these newer ones. And although Romulus was good, I thought.
I haven't seen Resurrection in years, but I liked it at the time. But
yeah,
I know there's dumb shit in that movie, but you know.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's still entertaining, but you just can't top the first one or first two, really.
Yeah, honestly, I think I like Aliens the
best. I
best.
like the third one too. I know we've talked about it before, but I like the third one.
I like the way it looks. I mean, because I believe David Fincher worked with Jeff Cronenweth's father. I think that's the guy's name. I think it was his last film, and then he died or something, and then he worked with the son, and the son and him ended up working on Fight Club and a bunch of other films. Benjamin Button, I think, was another one. He worked with a completely different guy for Seven, but that film looks beautiful, though. So,
yeah.
So, I mean, Fincher has a standard when it comes to how his films should look, except for now. Nowadays, they don't look as good, and I think it's because of the switch to digital. Like, I think you lose a lot of visual quality when you do that switch to digital. That's why when I see a lot of these films these days, I think Tarantino said it himself. It's just like it's like watching a DVD on a movie screen. There's no texture anymore. It doesn't feel like a film anymore. You know, that analog feel is what makes a film look like a film. Whereas if you put it on digital, it looks like a YouTube video or something, and it's just like, it does. That special feeling is gone.
Right.
That's why, going back to one of the very first movies I ever reviewed, probably the first one on our social media, like TikTok or whatever, Twisters. I was like watching that film, and I remember being like, you know what, this actually looks good. There's something about it. Then later I found out, oh, it was shot on film. No wonder. So no wonder it actually looks like a film, because it was shot on film.
Yeah, that's a good one. I just the steak and mashed potatoes and gravy scene just popped up in my mind.
Oh, you actually saw the film?
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about Twister, not Twisters.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, did that happen? I don't remember that. Yeah, the original Twister was fine for the time.
I haven't had lunch yet, so I was like, steak and mashed potatoes and gravy.
Yeah.
What does he say? What is Philip Seymour Hoffman? He says, like, the gravy's its own food group or something.
Oh, was it like that movie 50 First Dates, or no, Along Came Polly?
Which one?
Where Philip Seymour Hoffman, because he's always like eating stuff or doing shit. I remember in that movie, he gets, because Ben Stiller's like patting down the grease with from the pizza, and then Philip Seymour Hoffman's like, that's the best part. He takes and it drizzles the grease on his own pizza.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's.
I was talking about the Twister scene, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Well, it's been a long time since I've seen Twister. The last time I saw it was in theaters, because it came out in like 96 or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't remember much except for the cow scene and the little aluminum balls that fly around everywhere. Yeah. So,
but going back to Gladiator and Ridley Scott, I'm not sure how many more movies he has left. Maybe 2 or 3. I don't know. I can't imagine
until he dies.
Sure, he's going to retire soon. I mean, he's getting up there. I mean, I don't. Hopefully,
he's already 80. I think he's
in his mid 80s. I think.
Yeah, he's.
So I don't know if he wants to. How many more movies he'll want to do? And,
all up to him. He seems like the kind of guy who'd be like, I will die on set.
Yeah, I've seen him in interviews recently, and he's fine. I mean, he's sharp, and he's not he's not Joe Biden or something.
God, yeah, no.
And
I don't think I'll be sharp when I get that old. If I get that old.
Right. Yeah. Same. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he has in store next. I think he is working on a new Alien film. I think that's been confirmed.
Yeah, that has been confirmed. I think it's confirmed that they are working on an Alien versus Predator movie.
That I've heard too. I don't know if he's going to be involved on that, or if it'll be
he probably will.
Alvarez and the other guy from Prey.
Yeah,
but I think he's doing his own Alien movie, and of course they have that series. I think on coming out on Prime, I think, or
FX or something like that.
So I think he may be producing that, but I don't think I don't know how involved he is on it.
Yeah, I might watch that show, but I don't know. The problem with TV shows these days is that you can kind of, how can I explain this? Like, you can predict how they're going to go. And that's what makes TV shows these days to me kind of boring. Because you have the setup and you have the characters. You have to introduce the characters. They have to be introduced a certain way. Then you have to introduce the conflict. And then you have to let the conflict go through. And then if it's like a monster or something, you got to wait for it to kill people or whatever the hell. It's just like, they're so predictable these days where it's just like, I don't know. And I feel like the Alien TV show is going to be kind of like that. It's not going to be like interesting. Like, we're slab dab in the middle of a conflict. Or here's a scene where you set up like, all right, here's an imminent danger coming. Oh my God. And then the action keeps going, and then the conflict goes, and then the drama unfolds in that way. Then when you take a breather, now you're with the characters and you're invested because you're right in the middle. I feel like that sense of urgency is not in these type of TV shows. It feels like it's like a slow, like, walk in the park. Like, hey there, my name is so-and-so, and this is my partner so-and-so. We're going to walk down here for the next 15 minutes so you can get to know us. And I'm like, uh-huh. And by the time you get to the end of the 15 minutes, you're like, you guys are boring. Can we do something? Oh, yeah, sure. Let's go down to that lake over there. Hey, look, there's something there. It's just like, that's what it kind of feels like to me with these modern TV shows anyway.
Yeah, no, that's fair. There's just so much stuff to watch, and there's some good stuff, though. I mean, I definitely keep up with some of the big shows going on the different subscription networks.
Oh, yeah.
Or services, but I definitely can't keep up with everything at another time. But so I pick the ones I think that are good, and I try to stick with those. And
I mean, but like,
there's always something though.
But one TV show that's the exception, or it just leads on to what I was saying about like this is what TV show should be, is the Penguin TV show, which I haven't finished yet. I only saw the first episode, but when I was watching this, I was like, yeah, this hits. This is good. This is really good, actually. And
yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah, I need to finish it, but like that first episode alone is really good. And I was like, this is what I thought it should be. This is what it should be, and this is exactly what I was hoping for. So yeah. I mean, like when I first heard they were going to do that Penguin TV show, I was like, that is a great idea because Colin Farrell killed that role. Absolutely killed. Yeah. He was really honestly the best part of that movie, and I was just like, I was kind of disappointed that he was not in it that much. I was like, he should have really been like the focal point, or we should have really focused on him a lot more. But with this TV show, you get to see that, and you're like, this hits the spot. This was a great idea. And I think they recognized that making the movie, like, this is a waste to have him on screen for like 5 minutes or whatever. We got to really make more use of Colin Farrell in these prosthetics, and they did.
Yeah. It's a great show. I don't know if they will be doing a second season. I don't think they should, to be honest. I can see them doing that, and I'm sure it'll be okay, but I really think that this season is good as it is, and they don't need to do another season. What they might do is, I wonder if they're going to do a follow-up season after Matt Reeves' sequel comes out, and then have that all in there. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, season 2 is just Freeze. And it's nothing but Mr. Freeze,
Great character, very compelling. I mean, very interesting.
It could be like, honestly, that would be a great idea if they do that. It'd be like True Detective, but each season is you focus on a Batman villain.
Yeah,
that would be awesome if they were to do.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be really cool if they were to pull that off. Honestly, I would do a Clayface season or Catwoman season or whatever.
That movie can kind of bridge that gap a little bit. Yeah, somehow.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that would be like
the movie gives you the introduction, like it did Penguin.
Yeah.
In the film, and then the movie coming out. I think it comes out in 2 years or so.
Something like that. Yeah. I think they're filming it now, but yeah.
Or they're filming now, and so maybe next year. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so that could be pretty cool. I guess that's the thing. If there's a season 2 of Penguin, then I'm curious to see what happens in the film. But yeah, good show. Definitely one of the better shows I've seen this year. I mean, a lot of shows, but
yeah,
it's good.
Too many shows, but yeah, I mean, that's on my to-do list to finish. I mean, these days, I've been watching a lot of different episodes of Courage the Cowardly Dog, Dr. Pole, which is a reality TV show about a veterinarian in Michigan. Okay. He does primarily livestock and things of that nature, so that's been interesting. And a lot of SVU as well. So starting from the first 3 seasons, I think we're on season 3 now. So yeah, it's a cool show. I remember seeing it back in the day too. So yeah, and of course the episodes probably will get more absurd as we go on, but that's just the nature of it.
Yeah. Man, that's a long running show. I think it's still on. I think it's still going.
No, it came out in 99. It's still going. It's like almost in its 30th season. It's getting near that. So it's crazy.
Law and Order regular, I think that wrapped up, I think, after
the original Law and Order. Oh, that wrapped up a long time ago. Yeah.
I don't think it's been that long. No. It hasn't been that long.
It came out in 1990, the original Law and Order.
Yeah, it's still going. It was still going up in a few years back because Watterson, who plays Hank McCoy, eventually became DA, and then he retired and someone else took over.
I see.
This was a few years back, so it might even still be going on, but I feel like it ended just a few years back, but I could be wrong. But
got it.
I used to watch Law and Order a little bit, of course, back in the day, but I never watched much of those spin-offs like SVU and Criminal Intent, I think was the other one, with Vincent D'Onofrio. I think I saw a couple episodes of it.
Maybe, yeah. I don't
15, 20 years back or something.
It was one of those shows where I knew it was on. I may have seen a little bit of it, but I was not invested enough to actually laser focus on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, it's a good show though, just watching it. I like the Chicago series too. The Dick Wolf shows are just, there's a reason why that man's a billionaire. He knows what he's doing. So
right.
Yeah, he knows how to produce and makes these shows. He wrote, I think, the first few episodes, especially in the original Law and Order, but then of course he took a backseat and he's just counting the money.
He's got all the money.
Yeah, like I said, a billionaire.
Have you seen Arcane? You're familiar with Arcane?
Yeah, I saw the first couple of episodes and I like the animation style, but I really couldn't get into the story. I was like, meh. So I felt
got you. Oh, okay. Yeah, season 2 is going on right now, and I'm watching that. First season was incredible. It was really, really good. A lot of people actually say that it's the greatest animated show of all time.
Okay. No.
Ratings wise, it kind of backs it up. I think it's definitely one of the highest rating. I don't know about all that. I think it's definitely up there. In terms of the animation quality is mind blowing. It's brilliant, like how good it is.
But the content, I don't know, the content for me is just not there. Greatest animated show, I would put Rick and Morty up in there because the content is actually really, really good. Even if the animation is not quite top notch, then you have The Simpsons and South Park. There's
Simpsons, of course. Yeah, I see. It's really tricky when you say greatest animated show because then it's also different styles. Like the American animated sitcom style or whatever, or Japanese style animation, and
so
it's kind of a
tricky, its own category. But yeah, if you say animation in general, you open up the door to all kinds of stuff, Cowboy Bebop or something, or Ghost in the Shell.
Sure. And the other 1,000 things going on right now that people like. I definitely think Arcane's one of the best shows. It's easily one of the best animated shows I've ever seen. I actually think if you watched more of season 1, the storytelling is. What I think in season 1 is everything is really good. The storytelling is really good. The characters are very interesting, and of course the animation's great. And that season took its time. You really get a sense of the situation. You get the two cities, so the duality of it. The haves, the have-nots, and then the characters with their struggles, and it's really done well. If you actually watch the whole season, you'll be like, wow, they really put a lot of thought into this, and it certainly reminds me of some other things and other literature and whatnot, and then Revolution and whatnot. But it's just done really well. Season 2 takes place after season 1, and I think season 2 I think it's very good, but I don't like it as much as season 1. I think it adds several additional story arcs and layers, which is fine and good, but I don't know. It's kind of we'll see. There's 3 episodes left that aired today. I have to watch and to wrap up season 2. Hopefully, it brings it all together. But I feel like maybe they did a little bit too much, and there are some pacing issues, and it's not as leveled or grounded as the first season. So it's very ambitious, and we'll see. Well, I guess I'll reserve complete judgment until I see these final 3 episodes. But there are some weird stylistic changes in some of the scenes with music that they did in season 1, but in this season it kind of takes me out of it a little bit. It's kind of like a music video or something. I don't know. It's still really done well and it's very cool, but I don't know. I just feel like it's a little too much, and I notice it a lot more. So, but it's a very minor complaint. I do have season 1. Actually, I think I had like no complaints. That's how good season 1 was. Season 2, I definitely have a few minor complaints here and there, but what I know I'm going on here, but what I was told by a friend of mine is that after this season, the show's over. Arcane is finished. But what they're going to do is they're going to spin-offs. They're going to do spin-offs, and so it's possible that some of these storylines from this season may carry on, continue in the other shows, which I can understand that because it opens the doors for that. It makes sense, but at the same time, I don't know how I would feel if this season is not concluded well, and there's a lot of stuff lingering, and so we'll see what happens. But overall, it's a good show. I like it.
All right.
I don't know too much about the lore and stuff, but as a show, it's pretty cool.
It's part of League of Legends or something like that. Or,
it is, yeah. And I don't know too much about the lore of that.
I just know a lot of Koreans play that game, and there's competitions around it. That's all I know. Yeah. I've seen the competitions; they can be pretty intense. Yeah. Esports is an interesting thing. Just talking about that, it's just like obviously it's just like it's all dexterity with your fingers and it's mental acuity, and you're just like laser focused on the task at hand. But it's also interesting to see like people working together if it's like a team-based thing, and then it's just it's like watching chess. It's a battle of wits, and I like watching that stuff, and I like watching speed runs too, especially for the classic games. Like, and when I say classic, I mean of course, like the old stuff like Mario Brothers or whatever, but also some of the newer stuff like N64 stuff or PlayStation 1 era. The stuff that we both grew up on, and just seeing people speed run through that either legitimately, well, I say legitimately, but from beginning to end, or with glitches, you just clip through the walls or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that stuff to me is really interesting. So, but yeah, with this show, like I said, I saw like a couple episodes and I was like, I couldn't get into it. So I don't know if I'll ever pick it back up. Maybe I will.
Right.
We'll see.
As far as speed runs, I think if I recall, I could be wrong, but I know I did a speed run for it. I want to say I beat Max Payne 1 in like an hour and change. I don't know what it was exactly anymore because it's so long ago, but around an hour. I know it's not the fastest speed run or anything like that because I think somebody beat the game in like a half hour, which is insane.
Well, you got people out there that play nothing but that game for months, if not years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I remember my speed run for it was still pretty damn good. Played that game a lot when it came out. So
I never beat that game.
I don't remember how long maybe it was 90 minutes. I can't remember, an hour and a half. I don't remember anymore, but it was definitely the most impressive speed run I've done. That I can recall.
Yeah, I don't think I've finished the first Max Payne. I want to. I didn't play Max Payne 2, maybe a little bit. Max Payne 3, I never finished it. I've been wanting to finish it for years. But at the time when I played it, it was on the Xbox 360, and you need to have 2 discs. And when I rented it through Redbox, which existed at the time, not anymore, and had video games at the time, it only gave me the first disc. So I was like, I was screwed. So yeah,
that's not good.
That was lame. So I never got to finish. So I need to finish all 3 Max Payne games, is what I'm saying. So
yeah, first 2 I've played many times. I had those on PC, or I still have them on PC digitally and hard copies. I think I sold those though. But Max Payne 3 I own, but I never finished it because it didn't run too well on my PC at the time, and I never got back into it. But first 2 games are great. The first one's one of my favorites, and they're actually doing a remake for it that should be out probably in a year or 2.
Is it made by the same studio, Rockstar, or no?
Remedy, and I think so, to my knowledge.
Oh yeah, it is. It is Remedy. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think that's going to be out pretty soon. I'm looking forward to that. I think it's good too because there's a lot of people who didn't play it. A lot of people played it back in the day, but of course, since then, so many people have missed out.
Hey, you know what?
It's a shame because it's one of the brilliant games. So.
Oh no, I did play it. I just never finished it. But like, it is.
Great. Yeah, I know you did. Yeah,
it is great.
But a lot of people, younger people nowadays, aren't going to be as familiar. So it's a good opportunity for them.
Yeah, it's been like
check it out.
It's been over 20 years, I think, right by now. So yeah, I mean, the youngins these days probably don't know. I don't want to be condescending because there are a lot of young people that know that stuff and older stuff. And
Very
it's just,
true.
yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people that still listen to Nirvana, for instance, or, just grunge
Of
music in
course,
general.
yes.
They wear the band shirts, but they actually listen to the music, I don't want to be one
Yeah.
of these old cranky people that are just like, oh, younger people, they don't know what it's like. Back in my day, I used to listen to CDs. Yeah, I paid $30 for that. Be like, okay, you
Tapes.
crusty old motherfucker, we get it. You're about to die soon. Good for
Yeah.
you. It's like, come
Yeah.
on, man. I don't want to be like that. That's lame.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was just saying because it came out in 2000 or 2001, so that the percentage of people who are younger probably haven't played it compared to people who were old enough to play it at that time. The percentage of people would be higher, right? So,
Oh, well, yeah, of
so it's
course.
good that it's good. I'm always glad that they remake some of these games and remaster it, and because it gives a good opportunity for people to check it out.
Well, that's why, I mean,
some of these games you don't want to miss out on because they're really good. Writing is great, voice acting is great. It's super fun. The mechanics are awesome for this game and other games. So
it's a detective noir, and since I haven't finished it, when the remake comes out, I'll probably get that so I could finish it. And hopefully it does well, so they could remake Max Payne 2, and then they'll probably do a remaster of 3 at some point. So
sure, yep.
So they could do the whole trilogy that way. So
just don't watch the movie.
I did, unfortunately, and that sucked. That was
so bad.
It was terrible.
Yeah. What an embarrassment.
Apparently, Marky Mark, like his preparation for the role is watching someone play the game. He didn't even want to play it himself. I'm like, which is, whatever. Yeah, on one hand, it's like, whatever. He's an actor. He doesn't necessarily have to play the game. It's whatever. But on the other hand, it's just like, you're kind of being paid a lot of money to play this role. You want to make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into. I don't know. But he's also in Uncharted. Uncharted was fine. The Uncharted movie.
Yeah, I never saw it. Is that with the Spider-Man kid?
Yeah, with Tom Holland. Yes, I mean,
Tom Holland.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fun. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It's nothing like the game in some ways. The games are like on its own sphere in terms of storytelling. I'm not even talking about the gameplay. In terms of storytelling, it's like there's more sarcasm in the writing in the games. It's more action-packed, obviously. It's crazier. It feels like an actual adventure, whereas this one feels like a paint-by-numbers kind of Hollywood production, and sometimes that's okay. Sometimes it's just like, I want to see something kind of dumb and just holds my hand all the way to the end. And it was fine. On that standpoint, it was fine. It's just, unfortunately, it's just not memorable because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you look at something like, and of course the template they took, and the game took from this as well, Indiana Jones, it's like, that is, by definition, a pure blockbuster. However, it is more memorable. That's because they were doing things that were totally different, and totally different to us. But George Lucas and Spielberg, and Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote the script, they lifted from the serials back in the day. Like there were like certain things from those old serials, like Alan Quartermain or whatever they pulled from, that was just like that. It's just a different variation of what was already done. It's just that at that point, it had been like 40 years since that stuff was done at the point of the first Indiana Jones film. So it felt fresh and new. It's the same thing with Star Wars. I mean, a lot of that stuff was like 30, 40, 50 years prior. Lucas was pulling from other stuff. Whereas stuff these days, it's pulled from sources that are much newer. So as a result, it feels like we've seen it before because very likely you've already seen it before.
Exactly.
So
I've seen it.
Exactly. So therein lies the problem with a lot of today's media, I feel. So it's just like, I don't know what the solution is necessarily. You may have to pull them from older sources or go back to the way that things were done. But things are also going at a super fast pace. There's a lot of productions. There are a lot of video games, a lot of music, a lot of movies and TV shows that are in production and constantly being churned out. It's a machine now. So it all meshes together at some point. And then when you add in AI, for instance, and that's going to get even more like oversaturated, I feel.
That's true. We're about to find out.
That was a very
matter of time.
That was very insightful. Anything else you want to
add? Nothing at all.
That's like I go on this big long rant, and you're like, "Yep, that's right."
I'm not allowed to discuss AI here. Not the AI.
Oh no!
I heard someone was talking about AI recently. May have been like Ben Affleck or something.
I just saw that it was Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck did say to the effect of like, he feels like AI is not a threat. He feels like it's a tool because AI can't imitate the human condition, the human element. And that's where I disagree with him.
I disagree with him as well. Yep.
Yeah, because the problem is he's just thinking in terms of like he's thinking of like a utopian kind of like, oh, in the perfect world, this will never happen. I'm like, no, it's because here's the thing. At the end of the day, even if it doesn't feel quite as authentic, people are going to consume it anyway. They don't care. And we're already in this era where it's copy and paste template of stuff. You see it on Netflix movies and all kinds of other media. And people consume it. And people are fine with that. And AI is just going to speed it up some more. You know?
Right.
It's just going to... And then it's going to get more sophisticated to the point where you're not going to be able to distinguish it from reality, things that are actually shot in the real world or done by hand.
Yeah.
You know, and it's going to be one of those things where it's just like, we're going to have mostly that happen in the future. And then there's going to be a small sect of people that are doing things the traditional way. And it's going to be kind of a niche market. Like, oh, here's the human created stuff. Oh, I want me some human created stuff. And then after that, I'm going to go back to the AI stuff because that's mainstream.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where we're headed. You know, it's kind of like vinyl records and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the whole notion, like, I don't know, like, I mean, I think a lot of people just don't realize how far they're coming along with AI and how quickly within just the last few years. And this isn't something like, oh, in 50 years, it's going to be really, no, I mean, in 10, 15 years, it's going to be, substantially different. I mean, it's already, able to like emulate, mental processes that, that we have or that are kind of associated with humans. So I don't know exactly what Ben Affleck, where he's coming from, but there's definitely already advanced, AI. And it also in sync with robotics too, right? So I forgot the name of that one.
I'm talking about, well, I immediately think of Sora, which is the most realistic AI generated video. Right. And Tyler Perry, who does Medea and all that, he saw that and he was going to make a big ass studio, multi-million-dollar compound of some kind somewhere out there. He had to cancel the whole thing after he saw that video because he's like, you know what? I'm seeing the trajectory and I need to pull out now because I'm going to lose a lot of money if I continue where I'm going to go. And
he's got that in Georgia. That's where his huge, this massive studio and complex filming. And he was going to do a massive expansion, and then he was like, nope.
I mean, he knows that man's a billionaire too, so it's just like he knows where the money is. People who tend to be billionaires, well, one, they take advantage of people, so they exploit people, but also they understand business. They understand where the trajectory is going to go.
They know the loopholes and stuff. They know how to achieve certain things, and
they know the laws. They know the loopholes, yes, and they know how to buy people off and buy politicians off. They're evil people. They know how to run their world. So.
They're evil people, all of them.
Yeah, except maybe
every single one.
The only billionaire I think I'm. What'd you say?
I said, just kidding.
What'd you say before that?
I said they're all evil, every single one of them.
They are, actually, yes.
I don't know.
I like the only billionaire I can think of that I do like is George Lucas. He is a billionaire, obviously, because of Star Wars.
Sure.
But I'm sure he's taken advantage of people. I mean, I'm sure that has to have happened at some point. Spielberg is a billionaire. For sure, he's taken advantage of people to get to where he is. He has to cut in line, so to speak, or get in the front of the line wherever he has to. When you have a lot of power, you tend to use it. That's just the fact of the matter, And a lot of people can't fathom that because they're not in that position. But when you're in that position, you tend to feel very like, I can do no wrong. That's why Lucas ended up doing the prequels the way he did them. Because it's just like, I can do no wrong. I'm always right. I am George Lucas. I created everything. And it's all great. And then, of course, when he released... It's mine. And then when he released it, he's like, why don't you love it? I love it. It's great. Don't you love the sign? Don't you like the line about sand? How coarse and hard it is? And how it rubs against your genitals? It's great. I love it.
And Jar Jar, don't you love Jar Jar?
Don't you love Jar Jar? I love Jar Jar. I was going to make a whole next movie about Jar Jar, but then everyone didn't like him, and it made me sad.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think he's an evil person, but it's just more like, I feel like he was just too far up his own ass to understand, like, why.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah. But then again, he's an artist at the end of the day, too. Artists, even the best artists out there, they get lost in their own mind, and I think regular people are the same way too. They create something, you put it out there, and you think it's great, but then other people are like, nah, that's pretty bad actually. And you're like, why? I mean, that's been the case for me, being nowhere near on the level of the people I just talked about, just being a lowly, unproduced writer. I've written stuff, and I've written a couple of scripts where I'm like, I really like this. I enjoy this from beginning to end. I reread it just to make sure that I'm not like lost in my own head or anything like that. I'm like, no, this is great. I like this. But when I show it to people are like, meh. I'm like, what's meh about it? And then they would tell me, and I'm like, I guess I see where you're coming from, but I like it the way it is,
Right.
And I don't know. It's and that's just on the script stage. Sometimes people write stuff and people have that same opinion, but then when they release it, most people are like, "Yeah, this is cool. I like this."
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. It's a case by case basis, I think.
Now back to AI.
Yeah. Now back to AI. I mean,
Let's talk about AI for an hour.
Okay. All right. Fine. AI is the future. It's going to be our overlord. It's going to control us. It's going to bind us. It's going to enslave us. It's going to use us as batteries, like in the Matrix. It's going to be great, guys.
AI is the force.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, speaking of that, actually, I mean, one of the things that's inevitably going to happen, we're already here probably, is that we're going to have like hyper realistic VR or hologram technology, to the point where a lot of people are just going to be, and this has been theorized already, but people are going to be sitting in their homes and not leave.
Yeah.
Like their income could be like a form of government assistance, maybe, or maybe a stay-at-home job, which they can just do some work and then they just stay strictly at home. They DoorDash their food, and they put on their little headset, or they put on a little thing that creates a hologram, and they just live in their world.
Yeah.
They don't want to leave. They have no reason to leave because the world is cruel. The world is a terrible place. Why not?
The world is a vampire.
The world is a vampire. Dun, 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 dun. The world is a vampire. Yeah, but you know what? It's a very friendly vampire, and it's very inviting, and it's like, come with me, and you'll see there's a great imagination. Just don't look over there, though. Just look away there. No, don't.
Yes, avert your eyes.
Okay, now back to the singing. But but you know what I'm talking about. It's just like people are not gonna want to visit the real world when you can create a great world yourself, and everyone's praising you, everyone likes you, you get a lot of affirmation, and it's just like, and big busty women or big dick dudes, whatever you're into, just like, it's just gonna be like, that's our future. And there are a lot of people that are super depressed, and depression rates are going up because of the state of the world. So people are going to be like, no, I'm fine here. And you're going to be seeing like a drastic decline in businesses and things like that. Businesses are going to have to adapt, be like, no, wait, guys, we have our own fantasy cafe here too. You can put on your headset and order coffee here and stay as long as you want, as long as you keep ordering our coffee or whatever, or our pastries or whatever. That's going to probably happen. Yeah. And that's just inevitable.
It's going to be the next big thing after, or since those cat cafes. I don't know if they have any here in the U.S., but
they do.
In Asia, they have them. They have them here too, and it's like cats and dogs in the cafe and stuff.
Yeah, it's usually either or. In L.A., they had them when I visited there, and we just visited Austin, Texas, and they had one there too. So they're around the U.S. for sure. They're usually in like those kind of cities, though.
Yeah. Those will be gone, and it'll just be AI cafes.
Yeah.
Just plug in.
Yeah, you can pet a virtual kitty or a virtual dog or a dragon,
Who's your good kitty? Who's your good dog?
There's a good little dragon. Oh, let's fly. Let's destroy people.
The person's petting someone's leg.
Well, I've already seen...
Sir, could you get your hands off?
Stop it. No, you're my dragon. Get over here. I'm going to fondle you.
Oh yeah. No!
Oh yeah, That's another thing I forgot. The furries will definitely get their hands on that technology.
Oh man,
that's gonna be fun. Oh. Hey, they got needs too, so.
Right.
Yeah, but anyway,
yeah, I did want to ask you about the. You heard about that movie Heretic with
It sounds familiar.
Hugh Grant. It's and what's her name, Sophie Hatcher or something? From Yellow Jackets, and is it a brand new two film? Missionaries, I think they're Mormons, and they knock on his door. They're going door to door, right? And he invites them in, and it's some sort of some sort
Oh,
of
I looked it up.
crap. The house is a nightmare or something, and they have to solve puzzles and riddles and to escape or something along those lines.
That's cool. I've seen the.
I heard it's very good though.
I looked it up. I've seen the poster, but I had no idea what it was about. So
yeah, I'm gonna go see that. Hopefully in the next few days.
Can we?
It's A24.
Can we hope for a review?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe I'll drop a little short review on that. I could do that.
We haven't done that in a while. Since man,
true.
But then again, we got kind of burned out doing that whole month of October.
Yeah. That was fun. I mean, it was good. I think I enjoyed it.
But for you, you weren't video editing. I was.
Just audio editing. But
yeah, you did audio editing to your credit, but yeah. That was like, oh my God. I was so exhausted by the end of it. I'm like, I'm so glad I'm done.
Yeah. It was good though. I mean, I think it's but yeah, I definitely will. Yeah, I'll probably when I watch it, I'll do a little short review on that.
Yeah.
And then I have some other ideas. I want to drop something for Thanksgiving, so I have something planned.
All right, which we will privately talk about.
Yes.
Yeah, because I got my.
That's right, y'all. You guys don't know about it now.
You don't know about it all. But like
top secret.
It's top secret, boys and girls. Yeah, because I'm still working on my reviews too. You know what they are, so.
Yes.
I gotta dust those off and finish them up. They'll probably be released sometime in December, I think, by now. Which is fine. Nice. It is what it is. So yeah, like I mentioned previously, we just visited Austin, Texas. We were there for a rock concert. Interpol was playing there, and
there you go.
Yeah, and then we hit up a couple of museums and things like that. So it was really fun, and we rented a tiny house. Also, we Airbnb'd a tiny house rather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we being me, and my girlfriend, and it was interesting. I'd never been in a tiny house before.
It's one of those eco houses. It's like one room with the small. How did it turn out?
It was interesting. We had to climb up the stairs to get to the bed, and it was kind of like at the top, and it was kind of hard to maneuver up there. You had to crawl basically, or just like walk. Like in my case, because I'm tall as hell, I had to like duck my head, and I hit my head when I first got up there, and I was like, hell no. And then when you wake up, you're groggy and you have to climb down. You're just like, okay, I like the idea of a tiny house. I cannot do that. Climbing up, that's like a big no for me. But other than that, it was fine. I think for me, it's more of a hangout spot than it is an actual place I would live in, if I'm being completely honest. But it was interesting to try it out.
Nice. There we go.
Yeah.
It's an experience, You won't know unless you stay there, so then you can say, hey.
Yeah, I've done this. I've tried this. I've always read up on it, and I thought, well, I might as well give it a shot, and I did. So
yeah, it wasn't made out of one of the cans at a port, right? The containers on the port. Some of those are made out of those.
Oh, like those, yeah. They're on freight ships and stuff like that, and they have full of garbage, and they. No, it's not one of those. I would have turned it away immediately if it was.
It really is used for a lot of building these eco houses.
I know.
They actually use those cans, the containers, and it's
they repurpose them or something like that.
Yeah, it actually works out. I've seen some online, and or they stack them and they use a few of them, and it works out pretty well. And,
I just questioned the insulation and all that stuff. I'm sure you can add more to it to make it
ways to work around livable,
it. And, I don't know. But I thought literally living in one of those things without it being patched up or
no.
That's what I was thinking. No. You're talking about recycling and all that stuff. Okay, get it. Okay,
yeah.
Maybe. I don't think
they're using it as the kind of the base of it.
Oh, you know what?
Honestly, building around it, and
you know what? Now that I think about it, I think it was. I think the exterior was made of that. Now that I really think about it. It was metallic and it had like the grooves on it. Yeah,
that probably is.
Yeah, I did live in a storage container. We were in a storage container that was probably like originally floating in the garbage somewhere in the middle of the ocean. Yeah,
some of the garbage in those cans. All the goods and stuff that get shipped internationally
I just immediately default to garbage.
Garbage. It's like there's things in there, and on rare occasions there might be people in there too.
Oh well, yeah, us, but yeah, in its natural state, probably also, human trafficking kind of maybe.
Right. Yeah, that.
I just think of Donatello from.
Well, that's the opening of season 2 of The Wire. the port season.
Oh, really? I haven't gone that far in The Wire yet.
Oh man,
But I was thinking of
great.
Donatello a second ago from Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that movie. That was one of my favorite movies growing up.
It's a good one.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Like the third one, not so much. The third film can go to hell, but the first two are great.
I heard that animated one a couple of years ago wasn't that bad, or maybe it was a year or two back.
You talking about the Seth Rogen one?
Is that it? Yeah, maybe that's
the brand new one that looks like that had like the janky like frame rate like Enter the Spider-Verse or whatever.
Yeah.
It was fine. It was okay. I saw it in theaters and I was just like, whatever, I'll watch it. It's in the dollar theater when I had that around these parts. Yeah. And I was like, it's fine. I don't know. It wasn't great. I mean, the one that came out back in 2000, what was it, 7 or 8? That was the same thing. It was fine. It was acceptable. I don't know. I like the suits personally, even though it's hell on earth to fight in those things or to do maneuvers in those things, but they did it.
Yeah.
But they look better. It's clearly realistic because it is. And, but I saw a recent video on YouTube where like people CGI'd the suit and it's a whole CGI, created character, but it looks just like the suit from the original 2 movies. I'm like, that's super cool. So I'm like, I am not opposed to them doing something like that where it looks realistic, even though it's clearly not. It's all CGI or deepfake or whatever.
Right.
That'd be cool because that's what I prefer. Maybe it's because I'm like almost 40, so I'm like I grew up with that stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I want to see that. What I saw as a kid, not this super deformed kind of style and shit. I don't care about that,
Right.
That's just me. Or that abomination that was created, the Michael Bay shit.
Oh, no.
That shit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the movies were okay, but my God, the designs were horrible. I'm like, what the hell were they thinking with this? They look, I don't know, they look freaky. And originally they were going to be aliens, I think, but then they were like, okay, we're getting some backlash. Well, let's just make them turtles. I'm like, what is the
turtles?
Yeah, like what's wrong with you? Why change? Why fix something that ain't broken? Like, what's wrong with you?
Exactly.
I don't get it, man. I mean, if you really want to do something like that, just make your own thing. Make it instead of turtles, make them, I don't know, iguanas or something.
Yeah. Iguanas.
I don't know. Make them a different animal. Just like don't mess with the turtles.
You used to watch the 80s and 90s animated one?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's how I got started. Yeah. I mean, like I only knew the cartoon and the arcade game. Like
the arcade game I played a lot.
I think I may have known the arcade game first because I have vivid memories. Going to this pizza place back when I was a kid, and I was like very short back then. I'm tall as hell, but I was very short, and I was looking up, and I was seeing people play it, and I used to give people quarters. I'm like, because I couldn't play myself. I'm like, play it. I want to see you go to the end, and Shredder and all that stuff. Yeah. And then eventually I saw the cartoon. Loved the cartoon. It wasn't until I was in school, and I regret this. Like it was a year after the film already came out, and people were talking about Secret of the Ooze. I'm like, what's that? It's a Ninja Turtles thing, really? And I found the VHS, and I was like, oh my God, how could I have missed this in theaters? I would have loved this. And so when the third one came out, I was like, we got to watch this in theaters. And I saw him like, what the hell is this? This is horrible. Yeah. I was like, that film came out, 93? I was like maybe 7 years old at the time. I was like, this is awful. How could anyone have figured out that this was a good idea? The turtles look terrible. The time period is not that interesting. Feudal Japan, sure, they could have done cool things. They did not. I wanted just basically the same thing as the first 2 movies. Whatever.
Yeah. I saw the third one once and I've erased it from my memory. I can't recall it. It's a couple scenes maybe, but the animated show was cool with James Avery as Shredder.
He was Shredder,
yeah.
God rest his soul. Yeah, I mean, the show, it's been many, many years since I've seen the show, but it was good for the time. I don't know if it's any good now, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know.
It was clearly made for
I liked kids. I watched the new Batman Cape Crusader animated series. It was on Amazon Prime, I think. And I watched that a few months back.
I see.
I think it was a few months ago, maybe only a month or 2 back. I don't know, but it was okay. It was not bad. I mean, it's not. There's some things I really liked about it, and there was some criticism as well. But it's not. It's no Batman, animated series back in the day. But it's still I mean, that thing's a freaking masterpiece.
Honestly,
Practically,
it just makes me really think like we were very spoiled when we were kids.
yeah.
If you really,
There's
really
a lot of
think
good
about
stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, we were in a golden era of media, honestly, because
Yeah,
the Disney movies
and
back then.
technology, really. Yeah,
Well, it was at the time the technology was burgeoning, so it was just coming to the forefront, and people were getting used to
exactly.
it. So you had groundbreaking movies and TV shows like seemingly left and right. Because you mentioned the Batman show,
Absolutely.
that was groundbreaking in terms of how they made that and how they presented it.
Yeah. Yep.
And not only that, we had the Disney movies, you know, the Renaissance period. We starting with Little Mermaid, ending with Tarzan. So like
Right.
it just seemed for a while like every year there was going to be a new and exciting thing that was groundbreaking and memorable, and you wanted to see it over and over and over again until the next thing came out, and then you want to see that one over and over and it's
Exactly.
same thing with the video games too. And it's just like there was a period in which video games were like there were new genres coming out, there were new spins on genres. Like the jump from Mario to Mario 64 is so significant that to this
Right.
day it just unheard of, like how
Yeah.
revolutionary that jump was. Then you have Metal Gear Solid. The jump, I didn't know it was originally Metal Gear. Now I know, but
Yes.
from
Yes,
Metal
Metal
Gear
Gear.
to Metal Gear Solid, that was revolutionary. You know, it's just like
Yeah,
like,
video games. I mean, yeah, 90s was just something
oh yeah, that was a
something
unique
else, man. So,
that was a unique beast, man. So like for anyone who was just merely born in the 90s or was born in the 2000s, I'm telling you guys, like being in that era, being us born in the 80s and
Yep.
growing up in that era, that is like looking back at it, we were very, very fortunate. Like
yeah,
that was like we were going from the non-internet age, like the internet age was sort of beginning in the very early 90s, but it was just like only accessible to like certain people.
exactly.
All the way
Yeah,
to
it was
it really was not mainstream until the very end where it was starting to become more mainstream. And even then,
Yeah.
you had the niche like demographics coming out. You had the memes coming out in the early 2000s and just a bunch of people making weird that, you
Yeah.
know, you have to be a freak. You have to be like a nerd like us to like really enjoy like that culture. Now it's completely mainstream. Now everyone's making memes left and right. You know, it was like it really was a golden opportunity of world history, I would say, in
Yeah.
world pop culture, just to be in that. You know, it's just incredible.
Yeah. No, you're right. Absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's a fascinating time. Yep, and we'll see what the future holds for us. Where does it go from here?
I'm scared, but you know, maybe it'll be cool too.
I'm scared.
I'm scared. I don't know what's coming next.
You will be. You will be.
Oh yeah, Empire.
Yes. Yeah.
I like the original line reading of that. If you look at the behind the scenes, like originally Frank Oz was like, "You will be, you will be," and it's just like, and I think at some point in post will be like, "That sounds a little too." No, you're not goofy Yoda anymore. Now you're serious Yoda. Oh,
Yep.
okay.
George was like,
Frank, I'm going to need you to tone it down. Okay, Frank? Just tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, could you be faster but more intense?
You will be. You will be. You will be. You will be.
No.
"Germany."
That one was a bad line reading, actually. Can we dial it back more? A little bit more? And then you get to the end of the day. A little bit more? Oh my God, George.
Tired of you, George. I have taken.
Many best bottles around the studio, yes? Not make me leave, you will.
All right, guys. I think that's episode 3 of Shooting the Shit. So thanks for listening. Thanks for being with us. And stay tuned because we have another review coming up. Best Picture winner.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Thanks, guys, for dropping by, and stay tuned. We got a lot more on the way.
All right, guys. Just remember, we're on YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Check us out.
We're on everywhere.
We're omnipresent.
Oh, we should add the Outer Limits intro. Do not attempt to change the channel. We are taking over.
Exactly. Well, let's do it. You can do it.
Yes. Let's do it. Take over.
I thought you were going to
All
do
right.
it. Do it.
No. It's a visual thing. It's a static screen. And you remember the opening credits for Outer Limits?
Yeah. I know. I thought you
Yeah.
were going to do the voice or something.
Oh, I don't remember. I'd have to look at the script. I don't remember
Whatever.
what the lines.
We're done. We're done. We're out of here.
We're outta
Bye.
here.
Get out of here. Bye. See
Goodbye.
ya. See ya.